All right, for our background, we are doing a red background. And we're gonna do a process called wet on wet. So the first thing I'm doing, this is actually the back of my paper. It should have my name. And I'm going to brush the whole thing so it is wet. I'm gonna turn it over to the front of my paper. I'm gonna brush the whole front with water too. The reason I did the back was so that the paper wouldn't warp. It wouldn't bend and kind of curl up. And actually now it's sticking down to my surface. After that, I'm taking liquid red watercolor and I am painting over it. You saw how it kind of spread out at first. That's gonna help me create a nice flat tone. So your goal is to try to make a flat color, not a lot of texture. That means there's not a lot of light and dark areas, but you're gonna try to spread out the red so that way it's nice and even. So we're kind of doing two techniques. The first one is wet on wet, wet paper with wet paint. And then we're trying to create what's called a wash. A wash is a nice flat area of color by doing brush strokes that are nice and even. All right, this seems kind of silly that the red was just one step, but what we're gonna be doing next is that we have to wait for that to dry. And what you can do is you can sketch on a scrap piece of paper a vase. You can look up different vase shapes, but we're gonna sketch a vase, and I want your design to be about Chinese or Lunar New Year. I also want you to think that since we are doing the plum blossoms, maybe in your design, how can you incorporate the other two friends of winter, the pine and the bamboo? So in class, once we were done with the red, we would have probably opened our sketchbook and started to sketch ideas for our vase. And then next class, we're going to actually make the vase, which is the next video you see next to this one.